In this video, we will discover why the red planet could be the most important thing to the future of work in the next 50 years. Hi, it's Scott here, and thanks once again for tuning in to one of my Future of Work videos where I try to give you tips and things to think about, mental models and ideas on how to cope with the future of work as it rapidly comes towards us. If you enjoy this channel, please hit the subscribe button and hit the little bell and you'll be notified of any future videos that I do. Let's get into the next one. When I was growing up, I was lucky to do so just after we'd been to the moon. And in that time, this thing had changed everything. The moon changed the world, with many young people like me going into science. Now, during that time, my memory is of science being everywhere, whether it was Star Trek or Tomorrow's World or other TV shows that were all about science and technology. I think it's fair to say we became obsessed about science just after the lunar landings. The impact was significant.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
The rocks we brought back helped us to understand the moon, but also gave us a glimpse into our planetary neighbourhood. It was incredible what the rocks told us and what they said. Indeed, Sam Lawrence of NASA said, "The moon is a Rosetta Stone for the solar system." I mean, wow. What followed us going to the moon had historical, political, cultural, technological and obviously tremendous scientific impact. And it's that I think gives us some hope for the future. This was a remarkable time for humanity, and we started a whole new journey into how science and technology can help us be much more productive both at work and as human beings. But it wasn't long until the impact of our landing on the moon started to wane. People started to be slightly less interested in science. It's time for this planet, this moon, to change colour. And I think there's a strong argument to suggest that now is the best time ever for us to go to the red planet. So why is now the time for us to think about changing our attitude towards going to Mars? Back in the 1980s, the great scientist and communicator of science, Carl Sagan, said that he worried about the day when a world run by science and technology was not understood by the people using that science and technology. And I believe that at the moment we face just that crisis. Many people now are railing against science and railing against the progress almost that we have made in the last 40 to 50 years as a consequence of science. So what do I want us to go to Mars for then? What's the point? Well, the point is this. It would capture the imagination of the world, not just America, not just Europe. It would capture the imagination of the world. Even during the 1960s and 70s, when we were in the middle of a Cold War with Russia, even the Russians couldn't wait to see who got to the moon first. And when Armstrong said those famous words when he stood on the moon, the Russian public were just as engaged as the rest of the world. This is a thing that could unite the world. This is a thing that could bring us all together. Similar in some ways to the COVID pandemic did in the first few weeks, but the implications would be much greater. It would be astonishing. People would be wowed. They would invoke their awe at the fact that people had walked on Mars. And that's why I think thinking about how we go to Mars, how we can afford it, who can pay for it, is a critical thing for human futures. Think of the army of young children that would be inspired by the first man or woman who stepped on Mars. Think of the number of them that would then go into medicine, to engineering, to research. But perhaps even more important than that, it would raise awareness of what the scientific process is all about and what science can bring society. I think this is critical because I think in our organisations as we move into the future, we are stood on, as I've said before, the edge of next. I think as we go into that edge of next, we need a new set of tools. So far, things have not gone as well as we would have liked. People do not think critically. People do not understand maths. People do not understand statistics. People certainly don't understand how the scientific process works. And that worries me. We need to be much better at that. In a world where we are covered in information, there is data everywhere. The noise is immense. And capturing people's attention is absolutely critical. We have to get better at understanding how reality really works. And I believe until a better process is found out, the scientific method remains the most astonishing thing human beings have ever created. And me personally, well, one of my favourite bands is a Canadian act called Rush, and in one of their songs they say the following: "I can't help thinking big." And I genuinely believe that that's what our corporations and our individuals have to do if we're to move to the next level of human development, to look at things, the existential threats against society, like nuclear weapons, like climate change, like bad information, like conspiracy theorists. We need to move beyond that, and I believe, as I've said a moment ago, the best way for us to do that is via the scientific method, and to really give that a real kick. I can't wait to watch the first people walking on the red planet.